we've got, very lucky to have the pinnacle of aesthetics and performance combined. We have world champions in their category.
In the building!
I wasn't going to say that. I'll leave that to you. That sounded okay. Hey guys, I'm Sebastian Oreb, otherwise known as the Australian Strength Coach. Today we're at Base Gym and we've got two ladies joining us today that are at the pinnacle of their chosen sports. We have a former world champion fitness model and world champion bikini model, Hattie Boydle and Lauren Simpson.
Woo! Thanks guys, thank you.
On my channel, Hattie is a very familiar face, but I've never had the pleasure of working with Lauren. This is actually the very first time. I do know Lauren, but it's the very first time that I've had the pleasure of training with her in the same room. So I'm very excited for that. But what I want to do is I'm not going to actually train today. I'm going to work with these girls, and they've come in for a heavy squat and deadlift session. You know, of course, I'm there to help along the way. But what I'd love to show you guys is these girls' main focus is aesthetics. So they get on stage and they're judged on their appearance, yet they are both known for being incredibly strong. And I'm gonna go as far as to say these girls are the strongest in their federation, in their sport, even though unfortunately they're not judged on their strength. But if they were judged, if they were judged on their strength,
oh, it would be a competition.
I'll tell you the outcome. You would be first in fitness, you would be first in bikini. So they're both incredibly strong and they're both very well known for that. And that's something that I love. I love that people can use strength-focused training to achieve aesthetics goals. But what we're gonna do is hear it from their mouths. So take it away, Hattie.
Hey guys, I'm Hattie Boydle, 2016 WBFF World Champion. I am not just an athlete, I'm also a coach. So I have the Sports Builder Project, and I'm lucky enough to work with 5 amazing pro athletes and a really large number of amazing women from all over the world. I started training when I was 17. I'm gonna take that back. I started exercising when I was 17, weight training, but I didn't start really strength training till 2014 when I met you.
I'm going to interrupt you. I just want a little bit of perspective. I know it's a rude question to ask, a lady especially, but how old are you?
I'm 30.
Okay, so training
Dirty 30!
So we're approaching 15 years of, you said, exercise?
Yeah, I mean, when I first started training, I didn't train to a plan, so that's essentially just exercising.
Yeah, great.
And I look back now and I think what an animal I would have been if I started training to a plan much earlier.
It's an interesting thing, but I think we've all been there. Something that I say about myself is I love the mistakes that I've made. You know, as cliche as it is, we learn from our mistakes. And it's hard to say if you could get better than number 1 in the world. You've achieved that, so maybe it's been a good thing.
Yeah, I guess I like to consider myself a bit of an all-rounder. I can kind of do everything quite well. I can get fit when I need to be fit. I can get strong when I need to be strong. I can get lean. I love bodybuilding. I really just love training and outperforming myself, whatever that looks like on paper. And really love mindset work as well. So very big on self-development, and I actually feel that training really carries over to internal self-development, because you need to learn when to challenge yourself and also when to pull back. So yeah, I love training. I love strength training. I really found a really big change in my overall well-being. I came from anorexia, so it was just about exercise for a really long time, and then the strength training really showed me, hey, what am I actually able to achieve with my body if I really start to get in tune with who I am at the core and outperforming myself. So every week, just beating that number just by 2.5, 5 kilos. And from there, it started to shift away from what I looked like, which was my absolute main focus for a very long time. And it was quite damaging. Funny, I'm in a sport which is all about aesthetics. And carrying over to strength training, which is all about how the hell do I outperform myself? Where do I have to go mentally to do that? And also physically. And that really did open up a whole new world for me. And I was able to carry that into actually bodybuilding and aesthetics. So my sport is competing in fitness, in bodybuilding shows. But
the category
and my
is
category
fitness?
is fitness. But behind that, my love of training is the base of it is actually strength training, because not only do I use that in my compound lifts, squat, deadlift, hip thrust, but I actually carry that over to my bodybuilding style of training in order to keep changing my body. So
today we're going to get some
tangent there.
We're going to get some heavy lifts today out of you.
Yes.
Hopefully. I mean, you've just come back from a competition. How many weeks ago was that?
4 weeks?
Five.
5 weeks ago, and you didn't do much. So both of you both competed at the same show.
Yes.
And you've not done that much heavy lifting. I'm not sure about you.
No, so I changed my training. So last year I actually did a powerlifting comp 8 weeks out. So a lot of my prep lead up to WBFF last year was strength training. This year,
I love that.
Yeah, so that was awesome. This year I cut it out a little bit just because I wanted to refine a more bikini body shape. So obviously I get very jacked erectors, I get very jacked traps, so it's probably not the best thing for bikini division.
To do a powerlifting comp straight before
Exactly.
you're going to be judged on your appearance.
Yeah, so when aesthetic alone is the goal, that was a bit harder to incorporate so much strength work, just because I can build muscle quite quickly.
Sure.
As well. So
before you continue, why don't you just introduce yourself to our audience? We can get really carried away and talk about this topic forever and ever. Tell us who you are. Tell us who you are.
Hey guys, I'm Lauren Simpson. I am 2018 WBFF Bikini World Champion. I am also owner of Lauren Simpson Fitness. That is an online coaching business, and I train thousands and thousands of girls all around the world to be the best that they can be. Now, I have been into sports pretty much my whole life, and it was only in around 2015 did I get pretty serious in the gym. I do have a background with like an unhealthy relationship with food and training. I was the typical cardio bunny, overtraining, under eating, did all the pump classes and everything, and it really impacted my health because I just wasn't eating enough. So for me, getting in the gym really helped with my self-confidence, and like Hattie, I guess it's all about personal development and feeling empowered in the gym. Now, I am a huge advocate, and I always have been on social media, of girls lifting weights and getting strong, and obviously not just for aesthetic reasons, but because of that internal belief in yourself and what you can achieve if you really set your mind to it. And yeah, it's super empowering, and again, that's like something that we instill in all of our clients as well, that the focus is on weights training, because there's so much more to it. And yeah, I've competed in 2 powerlifting competitions previously, and one last year and one a couple of years ago, which I absolutely loved. I get super nervous though squatting in front of a room full of people.
Are we going to see you do it again? Powerlifting competition?
Maybe.
I hope so, and I also hope Hattie does as well one day. Hint.
But yeah, so I'm looking forward to getting back into some strength training again. I absolutely love the feeling of being strong. There's honestly nothing like it when you lift a weight that you never felt possible in your life. Like, there's nothing more of like a,
oh my God.
Yeah, I freaking did it.
So I've got a question for the audience. If you don't mind me asking, what were your numbers for the squat, bench, deadlift?
So bench.
Squat, deadlift if you want.
My boobs don't do well with the bench.
Let's just say the bench anyway, just out of interest. It's something that I believe in with a lot of my aesthetics athletes, for females especially, is the proportions, and it's kind of like a lower body dominant proportions.
Yeah.
So in my experience working with women at the highest level, it's more focused on lower body strength than upper body. Not that we don't focus on upper body strength. So I don't think it's a big deal to say that the bench press kind of lagged compared to your other movements, because you still have an underlying aesthetics focus. So I think, just out of interest, I think it's really important for everyone who's watching to know what your bench press numbers are and not be ashamed. It's all good.
Yeah, I think my best bench press is 50 kilos. My best squat that I've done is 150 kilos.
Big difference.
Yeah, huge. And my deadlift is 155 kilos.
That's some elite numbers.
Thank
and
you.
I'd go as far as to say, I don't think anyone in your category would go anywhere near that. Maybe in the bench, but we don't care about the bench. No one cares about the bench. And I'll tell you that, I get the least likes on my Instagram channel because no one cares. Damn it.
Unless it's Kevin.
Unless it's Kevin, but then...
Damn you, Kevin!
Damn you, Kevin. But yeah, I think that's a really great thing just to understand your numbers, you know, how strong you can actually be. What body weight was that?
I was around 60 kilos.
So both the same size? This is another interesting thing. You're both the same size as each other, both lift the same numbers, but quite different physiques and actually different categories.
Yeah.
So that's something that's a huge interest just to me. You know, we say
Thicker than a Snicker.
girls thicker than a Snicker. I wouldn't go that far. When you see them up on stage, there's you know, I won't say there's nothing thick about it because some people like that thick look.
Yeah.
But at the same time, wow, you guys get very small and tiny up on stage, and it's hard to believe that you're lifting the numbers that you do. So I guess it's going to be really cool today to show our audience that it's possible. Little chicks can and should lift heavy shit.
Can I just add in there? Most of my PBs are done dieting. A lot of my PBs have been done dieting. So to the back end, the last 3 or 4 weeks, maybe your strength might plateau or decrease, but like most of the way through, I always hit personal bests in a dieting phase, in a prep for a show.
The thing is, like, a lot of people will be like, oh, if you're dieting down, you can't hit big numbers, and a lot of the times it's like a psychological thing. You're talking yourself out of it. Yeah. But if you go into the gym and just think, I'm gonna get this, then it's all mindset is a huge thing I find when it comes to lifting.
Big time. Now it's only fair that you tell us your numbers as well. Lauren's given hers.
Squat is 145, which I've done so many times. The 150 is the death of me, and I swear I'm going to get it this year. And then
bench press? Hattie's got a good bench press.
I've got a good bench because there's nothing here but muscle, ladies. Muscle. And
you're going to zoom in.
You have to zoom in to see something. I forgot to put my boobs in. What is my 90, 95?
I'm certain you've done 90. It's possible that you've done 95. Again, it's not like you've never competed. You've never competed. So we've never actually put it down on paper. But I know it's at least 90 kilograms.
I remember I did 85 for 5.
Yeah, which for a chick, she's a great presser. Comes down to technique, but it also comes down to strength.
And we don't bench.
We never bench.
It'll be like
she'll
once
just come
every 5 months, 6 months.
Yeah, and she just knows how to do it. And I believe you've got a gymnastics background as well, which involves incredible upper body strength, which I just think is just stuck with you for the rest of your life. So
I've been muscly.
Kudos to you.
I've been muscly my whole life. Like I was a muscly 5-year-old. I was an elite gymnast.
How old were you when you started gymnastics?
I started when I was 4. And by the time I was 12, I was doing 32 hours a week of training. So more training than what I do now.
Insane.
And I can punch volume. I can do so much training, and I feel like the only way I can do that is because for 10 years or 9 years of my life, I was doing that volume. And like before and after school, 6 days a week, it's just, that's just what I kind of grew up with. So it's, I almost sometimes need someone to pull me back because
I'll give it to you. You're a volume machine, and you come in and it's like, I'll set a program for her where it's like 5 by 5, and then she'll do the first 5 sets, and then she'll say to me, can I do 5 more sets? And it's like, you can, and she does it. And this is, leading up to competition when, as she says, she's supposed to be dieting, she's supposed to be lower body weight and definitely lower body fat percentage, yet she's still punching out the work. So she's definitely a workhorse. One more question: how big is your deadlift? We forgot to mention that one.
Did I do 150?
You've done 150 for a double. That was conventional.
Yes.
You started doing sumo deadlifts. Was your
conventional?
That was conventional deadlift.
Yeah, I suck at sumo deadlifts.
Isn't that a funny thing?
I think it's just like my hips aren't just
boy
everything.
Boy hips don't like it.
No.
We might give it a go today. Maybe we can get somewhere. But I think that you're still not at your potential for deadlifts because we don't really do a lot of deadlifting in our training.
I just get so thick.
I dropped out all deadlifts just then, like during my prep. So I've only just been kind of getting back into it. I've been doing sumo actually, getting back into it.
I love that. It's I don't like to give my opinion on these ladies, especially. I've never coached Lauren. She's not an athlete of mine. She's world class and she's got a different method to what I have. But that's a belief of mine, is that deadlifting, as amazing of an exercise as it is, it does thicken you in places that it may not be your goal up on stage. It's my favorite upper back builder. The best deadlifters in the world have thick cores to protect their spines because that's what they're loading. And that's why I love the exercise, and I will prescribe it to chicks out there. But once you get to a certain level, like these chicks are doing 150 kilo plus conventional deadlifts, you're gonna build muscle. They say, and that's what we're supposed to promote, is that women can't build muscle and don't be scared, etc. Yes, you can. If you know how to train, you do it properly, you can build muscle. But it's not a bad thing either.
Yeah. You're better off getting that muscle and then going and then reassessing, not being like, oh, I don't want to get that muscle, because then you actually are trying to get that muscle, but you're doing all these other things. Like, you want to get there the most efficient way possible. And like deadlifting it's a phenomenal exercise. It's an amazing skill to work on. So again, having goals that are outside physical performance, it makes the journey a lot more enjoyable.
Definitely.
And I guess it all carries over, but it's a beautiful exercise. Like when you get it, it feels so good.
I agree, and that's the whole thing of subjectivity versus objectivity. Up on stage, it's very subjective. You're judged based on someone's opinion, whereas in the gym,
Get the lift or you don't.
You get it or you don't.
Get the lift or you don't.
We can measure it objectively with how many kilograms go on the bar, and it's a great way for your training morale to just see the kilograms adding up week after week, which is why I'm heavily biased towards strength training, but it's great to have like-minded women whose goals are aesthetic, and they're using strength to achieve their aesthetic goals. So I'm really excited to have you guys. Thank you so much for coming. Let's go and squat.
Do it.
Let's just note as well, this is Lauren's first time in Base Gym.
Yes, my first time ever here, so I'm excited.
All right, let's get some numbers.
Let's do it.